Oh, is that an Instagram or Facebook?
What are we talking about? What happened? What happened?
Huh? Would you?
Oh, yes, we are.
Is that Instagram or Facebook?
What do you want?
Oh, okay.
Is somebody checking?
Let me see.
And
If not, I can check real quick.
Yeah. Metacourt. Let me search. Metacourt TV
right there.
and
Yes, Fish, we are live,
Move
sir.
Love. Move
You're
your
looking right
hands.
at me.
Wait. Well, put your hands up. No. I meant move. Yeah.
Megan, me.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Definitely looks delayed, though. I don't think anybody's ever truly ready for this debate, good sir.
Gregor, you should have been here for my case. It
Oh,
was
I
so
know.
good.
Hey, I need an
Oh, my
HR
goodness.
person for my case.
I-
It's a tough-
like
it's
you
a tough
said,
topic.
I need an
It's a
HR
tough
person
topic.
for my case. So any one of you
They've been arguing about it
Last
for
paper.
decades.
Yes.
To be a
Yes,
witness.
you're gonna be here.
I think
That's what makes the
euthanasia
debate
should be
interesting.
allowed. So.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I heard there's some interesting twists and turns in the last case.
HR as in human resources. And I literally have what they're gonna really say. Okay, you'll be available this last case and everything?
Okay.
Right.
No, it's 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's 9:22 Eastern time.
What time is when does your case start?
Oh, it's supposed to be 10 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, 10 o'clock Eastern. I know. Will you be around?
Are you saying you'll be available or you'll be here
Right.
or?
The ground rules.
Well, it's supposed to be 10 o'clock, right? Our time, right? Oh, Central, 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock Central. All right, got you. Okay, yep, okay. All right. So, yeah, you'll be available?
No, wait,
Okay, cool. And
I was a client.
you still
I was a
could
client.
use-
I was just
Well,
helping
that's-
the lawyer. So
I
it
get-
was on her to do that.
Well, you
It was on her to do that, and she was out of town, is what she said, because she didn't get to me till 15 minutes before the case actually started. So,
My time, right?
Oh,
you know,
Preparation for a case makes all the difference in the world.
I'm in
East
LA.
Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in LA, so it's almost 6:30.
right.
So I'm up.
shoot.
I'm here.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Cool. Then great.
Really?
Great.
Was
All
that-
this other stuff was thrown
Is
in.
that raised in
And
the
it's like,
opening argument, though?
So you want me to be a coworker to who?
Yes.
To the coworker to
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Jumbo
It was
Hall.
in the opening arguments. Yeah.
Oh,
Because we all looked at each other and went, what
Jumbo is saying,
the
please
fuck?
well, but see, we didn't know about that ahead of time. So
Hold on,
all
yeah,
of a sudden,
I'm adding you to the party.
Gregor, we can go to my law firm real quick. Gregor.
Oh,
Okay, let's go.
okay. You gonna throw a portal?
Yep, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
What happened?
Wait, hang on,
Oh,
Jimmy.
we're
Hang
gonna go
on.
discuss his case. We're gonna go discuss.
We were
his
gonna
case.
discuss his case.
Are you guys doing a? Are
Yeah.
you guys doing Are we? Are you
They're
guys
doing a
going to
debate.
the-
They're going to do
debate
a
now?
debate.
You sure?
Megan, go with them to watch the debate.
Sorry, I was kicked off.
And
so
we'll
let's,
be
let's
there.
head, o- yeah,
Follow,
head
so
over there.
follow them. I'm going with them
oh, I'm in this one.
because I'm a witness for his case.
Throw up that portal.
But they're going to a debate. So go
Look
check
at my
out the debate.
receptionist desk. It's in the front. I have my own receptionist desk.
It's a little bit cloudy, but it's still in the 75 degrees.
Wait, what'd you say?
Golly
A
gee.
I have my
receptionist?
own receptionist desk.
Oh,
It has my name.
oh, that's cute.
I have a durable pen.
Okay. Did somebody?
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to.
Do you know which cruise line it is?
I've got to drive him because we live in Ocala, so I've got to drive him to Miami tomorrow, and then come back and pick him up.
Okay. All right. All right.
Cannibal Corpse, all that stuff. He's working the cruise, so he gets everything for free.
Did everybody make it in here?
Just tag along if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Am I out of the contest now?
Of course, that's
But I'm-
that's just fine.
Damn it. I will. I do agree. I disagree with some of what Roller was saying, but like I do agree that like I feel like if my case is that like I'm like I mean like I feel like it's understood that if I'm bringing a case to court about unpaid rent that like the like that
Echo,
it is
you're not
assumed
in the
between
debate,
both
so you're gonna have to sit
counselors
in the
that
gallery.
For a few
You
years
know,
now, but I'm
one
not,
person
like,
yeah
involved with
so I mean which I get like I
How
mean
are
I
you?
get we should like I don't argue it or anything but I'm like
So I heard we had some interesting
I'm
turndowns
bummed.
in the last hearing.
I wish I had been
Yes.
available last night to argue another case.
Sarah, are you going to be
Save
judged
the
in this?
contest. That sucks.
Yes, Mr. Judge Fishback asked me to be the because he's got other things to do, and asked
Okay.
if I would be the
All right. Okay. Okay.
guest judge. Who is that? Oh, that's Garfield.
Okay. I want to rest my arms right here. Well, thank you, sir. That is always appreciated.
What's up, buddy?
There were a number of people at 2.0 who said that they were in the contest. Perhaps you want to have somebody run over there and check to make sure everybody that's supposed to be is here.
I can go, fair. All right. Copy that. No
Well,
problem.
they'd have to get invited here.
Okay.
All right.
No, this one's an open.
What
Yeah,
the
just
hell
do
is
a
a
forum.
safe
Okay.
zone?
All right, I'll be right back over then. No
I
worries.
was in a safe zone.
But I
no.
got the taser here just in case someone's running up.
Perfect.
Oh God.
So, yeah.
I keep telling you about using that taser. The blood gets all over the floor. It takes us weeks to get that blood out. You know, just please be careful.
Taser draws blood. Oh God. How many volts is that thing?
Yes. I mean, I'll present as many facts as I can to provide a strong argument.
That works.
Yes, sir. I do.
No, I can't grab this. This doesn't work. Yeah. All right. That's all right. I'll just shoot somebody.
Excuse me. No, I was the military. Let me shoot him.
Well, it won't. It's not scripted to you, so
I say I.
you can't hold the
just
taser.
joke. It's fine. I'm just joking.
Well, I wouldn't mind. You're welcome to shoot. Should we go ahead and start, or wait for the other people to come?
Give it a minute.
All right.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's
Well, the rules of the debate. Each side will have 5 minutes to give their opening statement or argument, pro or con. And then we'll have 3 minutes for rebuttal. Questions from the judges concerning it. Each side, you may pose a question to the other party. Questions must be relevant to the topic and no accusatory, no defamation, no arguing in the debate. It's going to be a civil debate, so no arguing. The debate topic today, though, is should euthanasia be legalized? Should someone who is terminally ill be allowed to self-terminate their life? or can a family member be allowed to euthanize a family member? So, C. Wagner, you'll be given the pro of this. You'll be for it. And Sunlin,
Senulin.
Sir. You can call me Sen.
Sunlin will be con and against. So,
For that.
C. Wagner, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the Supreme Court. Everybody here. I'm here arguing in favor of legalization of euthanasia, which, if you look up the word, it derives from the Greek word meaning a good death. Generally, the idea not to condemn somebody to a long life of suffering or anything like that, but to let the person die with dignity. You know, I know this is a topic a lot of people don't want to talk about. Death is never a topic anybody wants to talk about until it has to be talked about. Just to be clear, I believe in it already is legalized in certain states. I believe California already does allow it. So you're seeing how it's going over there, and Oregon, I believe, allows it. With that being said, that would be my my opening statement. I could go more into why it would be an okay idea, generally good idea to legalize euthanasia, but I'll wait until that that part of the debate.
Okay.
I thought
Someone-
that was this part of the
Yeah.
debate.
Yeah, that is part of the debate. Yeah, please
Well,
give us your reasoning.
Well, how many?
You have 5
You have
minutes.
5 minutes, sir.
Well,
Keep going.
oh, I have 5 minutes. Thank you. So then I still have 3 minutes. Awesome. All right. So, one of the reasonings being, I will use the Netherlands. In 2001, Netherlands was the first state, the first to legalize euthanasia. They've been doing it since. They are proof that you can. What's the word I'm looking for? That you can regulate it accordingly. The biggest argument against it is some people who don't, not all people who are terminally ill want to end their life, meaning some people who are mentally ill, not terminally ill, want to end their life. So, with that being said, there is proof in the Netherlands that you can regulate it and it can be done. The government can do it. Another big thing is it's a personal choice. If a person's in pain, and that person makes the decision, I think the person has taken enough burden on their shoulder to even make that decision. They should be allowed that decision. Just that decision in itself, to think about that, is a burden in itself for one to carry every day. So to tell that person whether they have that right or they don't have that right, that would be my argument.
Okay, thank you, C. Wagner. Sen?
Yeah, thank you, sir. So I'll actually kind of follow up on one of C. Wagner's points that he made. There are some countries that currently regulate and approve euthanasia, but we've also seen an influx of fraud cases in these countries. Specifically the Netherlands. There has even been some controversy going on in Belgium, which essentially, you have a patient who we call it involuntary euthanization. So let's just say you have a loved one or a family member who's in a coma, or you have your wife who's in a coma, and she's unable to, make decisions for herself. So her husband naturally becomes the power of attorney. But let's just say that said husband is trying to collect on a life insurance policy. He could easily, what we refer to as, pull the plug on this woman and cash a check. So that's one of the main concerns when it comes to euthanasia. Not to mention the morality and the ethical concerns concerning this. All doctors in the world actually sign a Hippocratic oath not to do any harm. What kind of controversial feelings are we going to have this on our doctors? Not to mention, like I said before, the risk of abuse and misuse of this. Yes, countries try their best to regulate these things, but there's always going to be loopholes for people to use for their advantage. So that's one of my main concerns. So let's talk about ethical concerns. You know, some argue that euthanization goes against the medical practice and the principle and the sanctity of life. That it's morally wrong to end a life, regardless of the consequences. You know, there's a lot of religions on this planet that view, you know, our life as God-given. It's not our right to take. You know, so that's another big fear. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want a everlasting death. Another big thing is, I mean, people talk of death. I mean, last time I checked, humans have a mortality rate of 100%. It's inevitably, we will all face death. And I don't think there's not one person on this planet that can tell me what happens after death. I mean, in my eyes, you're taking a shot in the dark. You know, you may be suffering from a terminal illness or an incurable disease, but how do you know that's not worse than what's yet to come? So I think it's a gamble that I'm not willing to take. Let's see. Not to mention, you know, the slippery slope argument revolving around this. You know, if we degrade the morality of, you know, the value of human life, it sends us down the slippery slope to where it provides, you know, opportunities for people to take advantage of the weak and elderly. You know, like I mentioned earlier with the fraud cases, like that's terrifying to think of. I think the real issue is the lack of hospice care and things like that to help manage those symptoms, rather than just ending it all, you know, with a lethal injection. Excuse me. So, sorry. There's a concern that people who poor marginalized or otherwise, you know, vulnerable may be affected by euthanization if it is legalized. And again, that's mainly because of the factor of people may take advantage of them, you know, so the weak, the poor, you know, imagine the cost of, you know, these long-term conditions. If you have an underlying illness or a terminal cancer, like these can rack up into hundreds of thousands of dollars, and people just might give up, you know. It's more of a mental aspect of being in debt rather than caring for the life itself. And that's the majority of my argument.
Sin, thank you very much. Rebuttals now. Judge Sarah, do you have any questions or comments for either side?
Yeah, quite a few. If you know, you had said, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name again.
Mine?
Yes, yeah. Okay. You made the comment that doctors have the Hippocratic Oath to not prolong suffering or have anything to do with suffering, to do what they can. If this person is terminal and is in pain and there is absolutely nothing that can be done, and they're doing everything they can to prolong, isn't that prolonging the inevitable?
So the Hippocratic Oath entails of doing no harm. So essentially disposing of that life, it's in a way doing harm itself. And it's a good point you bring that up, because in today, I mean, we have antibiotics and new medicines being developed every day. Who's to say your terminal illness is terminal today, but what of tomorrow?
Okay.
Judge Farron?
And this question is for you, Mr. Sen. You've made some interesting points. My jurisdiction is the southern region of the Meta United area. And we have a procedure in my area of what's called a living will. The living will sets out what are the expectations of the individual with the will, of that if they have certain scenarios, this is what's going to happen. And typically the result is a withholding of food or withholding of treatment. If I'm brain dead and I've been certified by 2 doctors, will the hospital withhold food from me? Yes or no? And then the person answers that question, and there's a number of different scenarios. In your position then, aren't you causing substantial harm to that individual to be agonizingly killed slowly by being removed from, for example, a breathing machine, or being removed from the capability of food, and we're starving that person to death, as opposed to being a peaceful ending?
I would just have to reiterate, modern medicine. We call it medical magic for a reason. People who are on, like you said, ventilator or breathing tube, again, a cut 200 years ago is a death sentence. You'd get an infection and you die. Nowadays, people go through heart transplants, all types of transplants. So there's no reason to say that, again, your critical condition or terminal condition that you may be in today, we may not find an answer for tomorrow. Humans are advancing at an exponential rate. Our technology is through the roof, and it's just gaining advancement every day, and it's not losing speed.
Awesome.
If I may, one more question to Mr. Wagner. Mr. Wagner, in my area, we had an individual named, rather than using the first name, quite many people are quite familiar with the Schiavo case. And in the Schiavo case, the husband was responsible for taking care of the wife. The wife had become brain dead. The parents stepped in, saying that she should be kept alive. The parents, the husband had asked that her life be terminated. It ended up with the court system becoming involved, and ultimately a number of laws were passed in regards to this. Do you believe that the government should not have stepped in that case to be able to protect the life of this individual?
Well, I believe if there was some type of law in place, maybe such as like a DNR that a person signs, then
Excuse me, Mr. Wagner.
that's just a
For
very
those in the
tough-
gallery, a DNR is a do not resuscitate command.
Resuscitate.
Yes, I apologize. I do not. Yes, I apologize, guys.
Please continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
So something to that, but it. No, absolutely. But it's just that is a tough question. If that, because in that situation, do I think it was fair for the courts to get involved? I would have to, yes, I would see, I would say yes, I do think it was fair for them to get involved in that one, to see who had the legal right, for this woman's, what happens to this woman.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner.
Mr. Wagner, do you
Yes.
potentially see any misuse of how they would self-terminate? So it was mentioned lethal injection. Do you foresee any regulation in that, or anybody can get the lethal injection?
Well, there would be certain criteria that the patient would have to meet. It would have to be, if you look at the Netherlands structure, the patient would have to be either terminally ill or have a lifelong illness with severe pain with no cure to be able to do this, which would disqualify anybody struggling with mental illness from making the decision of going through with this. So there's that way of going about it.
Okay. Mr. Sin, there's an old saying, and I had said it yesterday, the more government control, people tend to have less freedoms. So do you see that the government controlling this kind of leads to an individual's freedom from right to choose?
Not really, no. I view that this is, one of the laws put in to protect people. Even in today's world, look at all the misuse and abuse that go on a day to day. Depression is a real thing, so you may feel a certain way for a period of time, and it may draw you closer to thinking that's the only answer when it's not. Again, there's plenty of different alternatives for care, therapy, and things of that nature.
Okay. Judge Sarah, do you have anything else? Do you have any other questions?
Oh, I'm trying to think of the best one to ask. I
Excuse me.
I guess the one I can think of at the moment is there has to be a lot of, there's going to have to be a lot of regulations, background, I mean, there's going to have to be a plethora of, hoops to jump through in order to get approved for this procedure. Does that make sense?
It does.
Would you say it would be better to have instead of the government doing it, have a outside, not company, I don't want to use the word company, an outside group?
Like a non-profit organization?
Well, no, not so much nonprofit, but somebody that is, they're not, no political, no nothing, group that handles all of this and goes through and says, okay, this person has done, they qualify for this, they've done this, they've signed this, they're approved to be of sound mind and body at the time of everything being signed. There is a living will being stated that they do not want this, they do want this, the DNR, that sort of stuff. I mean, there's got to be a group that can regulate and control all of the matters. I mean, there's going to have to be, some structure set up. Do you believe that if this were set up and everybody that signed up for this procedure and they pass all the questions, everything, the documents, the psyche valves, the whole 9 yards, that person has the right to end their life? Both of you.
I'll go first if that's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go first.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
thanks, bud. So I mean, to answer in a simplified version, of course, because it's a difficult topic, but I absolutely agree it's an important one. So when you have all these third-party organizations, dipping into the pool, and like you said, create more hoops to jump through, it creates more opportunities for loopholes. So I mean, it's like the issue we see today with big government. So many things go through a chain of command that, through point C and E, something was lost, or, it could have been misinformed about something. If I can, I would like to bring up a specific case. Again, just to give the point of like the misleading fact is, it's a very sad case. So it involved a 5-year-old little girl in Belgium. She was diagnosed with a terminal illness. And Belgium has no age restriction on euthanization for humans. You can perform it on infants. But in this case, it was a 5-year-old little girl. And it pained me to having to read this story, but essentially the mother asked the child, do you want heaven or hospital? And of course, the young girl picked heaven. So, a week or so later on, they took the little girl's life. So, I mean, it can definitely be misleading. And to say psyche valves are 100% accurate is a long shot. I mean, most serial killers in today have outrageous IQs. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Gein, I mean, John Wayne Gacy, these guys were off the charts intelligent. So I think if somebody really wanted to manipulate that data, it wouldn't be that hard, especially if you had the mind and the will to do it. And now for your statement of living wills, not everybody has those. you know, and God forbid you get into an accident. I mean, we all drive to work. I mean, the risk of you getting into a car accident, and I mean, unfortunately, it's there. You know, the numbers don't speak, or the numbers speak volumes. And God forbid you were on your way to do your living will, but it never got done. Your life is in your power of attorney's hands. And God forbid you guys had an argument or have a dispute, or you just straight up don't like each other, because I mean, you can kiss this world goodbye. That's all.
Wagner.
I'm gonna say yes. Obviously, do believe that. I think that it would have to be a second party. I don't see a third party being involved. Big pharma doesn't create cures; they create customers. So they don't. They're not gonna want to see people take take that choice into their own hands, because that's going to put a big dent into their own pockets. So I believe the government would pass it down to the Board of Health, and do as they're doing now in Oregon and California, and kind of take it from there. And if I could just say something about a story that I read, because like Mr. Sen said, I've read a lot of stories, and a lot of them were very sad. But I did read one story about a doctor in the Netherlands. He's one of 60 doctors performs these euthanasia. One second. So anyway, I'm sorry, guys. With that being said, he went to this house, and there was about 30 people, 30 family members. And he said every time he goes, he never knows what to expect. And he said when he got there, they were all smiling and laughing and drinking and having a good time. And he just, he felt like he was doing the right thing. So I didn't get a chance to say it earlier, but just to rebuttal what the doctor's doing no harm. In that sense, the doctor felt like he was doing the best thing for his patient. But to answer your question, yes, it would be regulated by a second party, obviously probably the Board of Health.
If I may have one quick
Yes,
question,
Judge
please.
Farron? Yes.
Mr. Wagner, are you suggesting
Yes.
that the government or the Board of Health is in the best position to, for lack of a better word, adjudicate towards whether or not the ultimate sentence should be imposed rather than the patient's doctor? Aren't you advocating for another entity to come in between the doctor-patient relationship?
No, I'm advocating for the patient.
I understand. Thank you.
It's been brought up about Mr. Sin brought up about religion, and that some people, it's very much a religious factor for some people. Do either of you say if hypothetically, let's just assume that it was that they are allowed to euthanize a family member, and perhaps their doctor says, no, that is against my religion. How do you all account for that?
Mr. J, would you please remove Mr. Carey?
Yeah, I just did. How do you all account for that? That a doctor refusing based on religious, but the family member doesn't have, it's freedom of religion in our country. And so the families don't have an issue with it for their own personal. I guess I'd ask you that to you, Mr. Wagner, since, how do you foresee this?
Oh man,
I mean, would a doctor administer it?
I mean,
or,
obviously,
or family members going to administer it?
No, I would. It's well, would you meet your accident if a doctor or the family would administer what the I guess you would say the injection?
Do not remove.
Don't remove. Who's in here trying to do that?
That would probably be the individual that just went to
Yeah.
jail.
I'm
but
sorry. Continue.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little confused with the question. Are you asking if the doctor or the family?
Well, yeah.
should be able to
Do you foresee
Like,
any
I know you're saying the
problems?
doctor won't do it for religious reasons.
So,
No,
could
I
a
mean
family member?
I would respect that doctor's decision. No, I mean I would respect that doctor's decision. Like you said, he has freedom of religion. And then there are other doctors. If that's what the patient wanted, and that's what the family has, accepted, and it's all agreed upon. Then they would find a doctor. They would just move on to the next doctor. I hate to say it. Realistically, it's gonna happen whether we regulate it or not. So why not give people the best, the best care or the best? I hate to say it like this, but the best possible ending or end of life
you
that
said,
they could
yeah.
have instead of the suffering.
Okay. Well, we are over time, but yeah. So we'll give you each a minute to wrap up your argument.
All right. I mean, just to sum it up really quickly, like I said, I was here today, in favor of legalization. One, it's one of the oldest practices in medicine. It was used by the ancient Greek and Romans in situations to alleviate, terminally ill people, patients, and people who are suffering war wounds from war, stuff like that, because it in fact was the most humane thing to do, instead of letting them continue. And then like I said, it come down to personal choice. If the person has to think about that every day, then the person has the right to make that decision. And I just thank you guys for your time today. I know it wasn't the most pleasant topic to hear about, but thank you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Sin.
Yeah, thank you. So, kind of follow up on one of the points Wagner made about, and also yours about religious concerns. Since Netherlands is the country of choice, it appears, there's only 13% of doctors roughly that perform these in the Netherlands, and a lot has to do with religious concerns and morality concerns for these doctors. And again, just to follow up on the Hippocratic Oath, to preserve life and not to destroy it. And these are essentially the reasons why I believe euthanasia should be kept outlawed. It goes against the traditional principles of medicine, which prioritizes preserving life and healing the sick. Additionally, there are concerns that if euthanasia is legalized, it could be misused or abused, leading to involuntary euthanasia or euthanasia being performed on those who are not truly terminally ill. Furthermore, many religious and moral beliefs consider euthanasia as morally wrong and can be seen as a form of assisted suicide. Which is illegal in most countries for a good reason. Another concern is that it would create the slippery slope, like I mentioned earlier, where the criteria for people who are eligible for euthanasia is expanded to include non-terminal disabilities or non-terminal illnesses.
That just means
disabilities.
it's the top of the hour.
No. It's time for my meds.
Okay.
It's a
Okay, well, I'm glad we had that ring.
It's a personal alarm.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we had that alarm for you. So, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Sin. Are you done?
No, so I was on the slippery slope argument. The more that we normalize euthanasia, the more that we become desensitized to it, and that's when the criteria for folks are opened up to non-terminal illnesses, depression, and
I didn't know Wagner was a
smaller
part of the
things.
competition.
And again, to his point, the ancient Greeks and Romans did
Well, if
in
he
fact
wins, that means my law
euthanize
firm is
their
undefeated,
soldiers
so.
after war, and for folks who, like I said, who merely got a cut on the foot and had to have it amputated, or they were dying of a painful death of infection. But again, medical magic, guys. It's advancing every day. We could find a cure for everything. I mean, AI alone could solve so many problems.
Then why haven't they
And-
cured cancer?
Okay.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. So Mr. Wagner said that pharmaceutical companies create customers rather than cure diseases, and it's a myth.
Mm.
To be quite honest with you, there's no fact, there's no hard evidence out there that any cures for cancer have ever been found, or that they're prolonging the pain and suffering of their customers. You know, so I think that's a good point to look at.
Okay, thank you, Sin. Thank you. Judge Farron.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone in the gallery for joining us for this debate for the Best Attorney Contest. Greatly appreciate everybody's interest and being part of our world. It is important that you guys be part of this world to be able to be entertained in such a way. Mr. Sen and Mr. Wagner, excellent arguments across the board for both of you. And in excellent arguments, it's important to put aside my own personal feelings to be able to adjudicate this matter. I personally, and I don't normally say this in any of our court cases, I personally agree with you, Mr. Wagner. But today's case is not just about the individual debate, but who's the best attorney. And in that case, Mr. Sen, you came across to be overwhelmingly more prepared, much more articulate as towards your arguments. And while I disagree with your position, you clearly showed me that you were the best attorney in this hearing today. So that would be my vote, sir.
Thank you, Judge Farron. Judge Sarah.
I'm glad you said that. Because I too have got to set aside personal views. Having been a hospice nurse for 20 years, I have seen a lot. I have taken care of a lot of people that have died very painful deaths, and I was there to help them and the families. I think a lot of them, I've had some of them beg me to please do something to end this. Wanting to so badly, knowing that I could not because of laws and that would be considered murder. I had to stay there and watch them suffer. I believe very much Wagner's side of the story, but as you said, Farron, who came more prepared and who had the better argument? Man. Yeah.
Difficult.
Yeah. Sin had the better argument. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with what he said. But as far as being prepared and, and also just in having been diagnosed with something now recently, I'm looking at the same thing. I'm getting ready to get my will set up. And I have all of that set up where there will be no decisions. Pull the plug. So I'm in the process of doing all of that right now myself. So yes. But yeah, I don't agree with him, but he did the better job.
And
How say you,
I did
sir?
want to say both of y'all did great. I mean, my hat's off to Mr. Wagner. He came in as an alternate. He was not the original attorney for this.
Ooh,
but
interesting.
You did an amazing job, given that you had 20 minutes to prepare. So,
Amazing.
And so my hat's off to you,
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Wagner. Yeah,
Seriously.
you gave some really great arguments.
That was,
Unfortunately, even though my position, I am pro-choice in this, Mr. Wagner, I do say Sin won the debate. So thank you all very much for coming
no,
to the.
I hear you guys. If I had more arguments, it would be legal,
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
I mean,
But-
that's
but
my personal
I'll
opinion.
be
as well.
honest.
Yeah.
I'm on your
Congratulations,
side,
Mr.
dude.
Sen.
So congratulations. So thank you all for coming to the best lawyer contest, the debate. So thank you all.
Good job, brother. Why do I
You too,
jump
dude.
now every time?
You gave
There
me
you
a
go.
run for my money, man.
Yeah, it's just such a hard topic, man. That's so sad. And then you brought up the Belgium. I was like, oh man.
I know, dude. It's sad. It's so sad.
That's why, I read a few stories.
Wait a minute, y'all. All right. Wait a minute, y'all. I gotta say something before.
I think it would be better to do that because we do need to have each witness to be able to come up, be sworn in. We don't have the facility here to be able to do that and to be able to to be able to pull the jury and so on. We don't have certain capabilities here that we have in the other court. Yeah, let's just do a private session. Yes.
Okay, but before we do that, just want to make a quick announcement.
Love,
Since everybody's in here right now. Meta Network News is restarting. If you are interested in joining Meta Network News, please look at the Meta Court TV Instagram post, comment under it with the position that you would like and your
I don't have
username.
Instagram.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not Instagram. I mean Facebook.
Oh,
not
okay.
Instagram.
I was gonna say, I don't have
Could you
Instagram.
also put it on Instagram for those of us who don't use Facebook?
Instagram does have
But you have to have a
Metacore TV.
Facebook account to have your Oculus, I thought.
No.
We're gonna go ahead and post it on the on
Yeah,
the
they
Metacourt
switched it. Now
Instagram and the
just need a
Metacourt
Meta
Facebook.
account now.
So if you are interested, please comment under it, and we will put you on the list, and we will get you the orientation.
And when's the orientation going to be?
Orientation is going to be next weekend before the second lawyer competition. Before the second.
Okay.